Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to day 4. It is day 4 of Rival Week number 2 here on Pro Rivalry. And man, are we excited to bring you PSG versus Method. We've seen this once in the past couple of weeks, a best of 5 over on the RLCS side of things. But today, we are in the endurance test. This is going to be a battle, a fight, a war. My name is Switchblade J. Joining me is X-Fighter for this wonderful series. I have a feeling this one's going to be going all the way, and we were just discussing this earlier. Like, these two teams are probably, we were saying there's probably a decent argument to make that they're probably the best two in the world, but for 100% certainty, they are the best two teams in Europe right now.
Yeah, they're doing so incredibly well, and I think at the start of the season, when we look at the RLCS facts, I don't think a lot of people expected those two teams to be right at the spot where they're at right now. And they're doing such a wonderful job. And honestly, they deserve to get into those spots. And now we get to see the revenge match. Of course, we saw Method losing towards PSG. I believe it was 1 or 2 weeks earlier. And that match was already extremely close. So today, we might actually get all the way up towards the 21 games that these guys are in control. It's going to be an extremely long endurance run for all of these 6 players to play today. And I'm not entirely sure if I'm 100% ready yet for this matchup.
Yeah, no, like 100%. Like, it's probably one of, you know, it's just such a good matchup. You know, we already seen that series. There were like at least one overtime when we saw them play off, and it was a 3-2 all in all in that best of 5. And you know, that's, as you say, you know, there's a possibility that we could be going to all 21 games over the course of our 3 series tonight. So if you're ready, then buckle yourselves in, and we can kick things into the matchup, because it is going to be a pretty decent battle. But let's talk about the teams of their own accord. Method kind of came to their own realization, particularly as an organization. They came through as part of the Elite Series lineup. They were brought through. They were pinned to be one of these really good teams. They picked up a squad, and they did all right. They did well, and they've just sort of been building it up right here. And this squad as a whole, this Method squad, they've stuck together through many, many different organizations and many, many different teams, but they've always stuck together as a 3. They've been, you know, a solid unit, and I think they have an unrivaled amount of chemistry at the moment at the top of the Rocket League scene.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, that magical duo that we're talking about is, of course, Metzenares and Magnus. These guys have been playing for so long together, and they are literally a killer. And as soon as they picked up a lot, I've heard the casters over at Overtime that was just hosted an hour ago. They were talking about this, like, what's this team gonna fit, and were these guys gonna stay together after the off-season grind that they did? And I put so much work into that, and they became such a solid team. Like, their playstyle is so fast, and they're really talented, and now they gotta prove it again tonight. Like, we haven't really seen perhaps these play in such a long endurance run, so I'm really curious to see if these guys, like, usually you've seen tournaments that perhaps goes to a best out of 5, best out of 7. Tonight we've got a best out of 3 of best out of 7. So it's going to be really interesting to see if these teams can really be consistent throughout a long session instead of, like, perhaps those shorter sessions. And there's a lot on the line. I mean, Method lost to PSG 2 weeks ago, so they want to settle the score right here tonight, showing that we are the most consistent team. We're currently number 1 in the EU seed of the RLCS. They want to show that they've got what it takes and really prove that they deserve that number 1 spot. But then again, they still have to compete against PSG, which has been an amazing team. They've only formed really recently, I believe. Let me check my facts. On August the 1st of this year. That is short. That is extremely short. They previously played on their front line, but recently got picked up by PSG Esports, the first football team to actually join the RLC or the Rocket League scene competitively, which is actually pretty nice. But the thing is, I honestly believe, like, this matchup is going to be extremely close, because PSG is also one of those teams that perhaps not a lot of people expected to become like this good, but they've proven themselves so extremely well.
Yeah, I mean, PSG is a team, they have quite a lot of star power. You just take a look at that particular lineup, and you take a look at the likes of Bluey, who's been one of the breakout stars of the year. You know, he burst onto the scene very, very young, very, very talented, and, you know, all in all, very, very good. And when we saw him competing in Team Infused and competing at, you know, local lands in the UK, and suddenly just rising up to become part of this RLCS team, it's really just an incredible showing of how much star power is really just in this sort of team, just off of him alone. And then you look over to the likes of Chaussette, and Chaussette, is a player that I just think has such incredible individual ball control. Like we saw him several clips before, even going back to that series when they faced off against Method, the way that he can just feed the ball in and out of defenders. There's of course that very famous clip from the PRL RLCS Open of when he fed it past all 3 defenders and scored a goal on his own. Like it's just such a mechanical marvel to see these players play. And PSG, I feel like they're unrivaled in terms of that. They just got such a great amount of star power that can wipe the floor with any team if they want to.
And the thing is, talking further about Chaussette, I honestly believe that he perhaps might be one of the most underrated players currently in the EU pro scene. Perhaps this season is going to change all of that, but he's really proven to be always that solid third man back. Like every single time he puts into a team, he is pretty much the MVP. He also got number 2 in the MVP Tour alliance of the RLCS in this league play. So he's doing such a wonderful job, but I'm hoping these guys, both teams, to pop off and just give us a spectacular match. These guys, so many games, it's going to be a blast to watch these guys, really.
It's the team play versus the star power. PSG in the blue, Method in the orange, and I think that is appropriate considering the team's colors. It's game 1 of the first series. A lot going to be taking control, trying feeding things up, backed up of course by Magnus there, but going to be challenged so far. PSG not going to allow them to get so aggressive, and they actually will feed their way in towards the center. Fortunately, defensive is set up so far so well from Method, who will get up for the first challenge. A lot tries to put it in, but Chaussette with a quick rotation back to the defensive gets it right back to the control of PSG.
The thing is, what I like to see, we started off Pharaoh with some demolitions. We've seen them, the previous clash that these 2 teams had, we've seen a lot of demolitions come through, and some of them really worked out to really disrupt the plays of the opponent team. So perhaps we're going to see, an extra bit of that. Perhaps they're going to repeat that, what they did 2 weeks ago, and get some really nice plays going.
So far, no goal scored. It is early days. We are just past the first minute of the matchup, but a very open goal for Bluey. The try, see if he can take control of Matsunaris. Will challenge, and we'll feed it back into the middle area of the pitch. Ferro, of course, keeping his aggression, and we saw this when they played off in that series. A lot of aggression that comes through from these teams. They feed it in towards the box. They challenge many times, and Chaussette is the man to score the opening goal to the favor of PSG.
I was talking about Chaussette earlier, why he's so important. That guy is always right where he has to be, always knowing, really noticing when his teammates got in, when he gets that opportunity to get those goals going. Now, he's scoring the first goal of tonight's event of many games that we're going to see, and hopefully he's going to continue that streak.
And we saw Method at the end of their original best-of-3 series in the RLCS start to take a lot of risks when trying to bring back against PSG. But look at it, it might just be paying off. Very, very close for a lot off the crossbar, but unable to get the goal. It now feeds back to the control of PSG as Matsunaris once again gets it into that blue box. Might even follow it up, never mind. No one's there to defend it. And Method will even the scoreline.
I'm not sure what happened there. Both Chaussette and Farah, I think, wanted to get that. Farah wanted to jump up, but I don't think he actually had enough boost to actually get that one out. I think it was just a little bit of a small error. Perhaps Farah thought that Chaussette was going to chip it off the wall. Perhaps a little bit of a communication error, but it's 1-1 again. Method is looking to try to extend that as well, but not a great start for PSG.
Yeah, so far evens. They are going to challenge for a good score, but that last goal, I have a feeling, is a bit of a problem that I tend to find a lot when you have a team that's very star power oriented. Sometimes the stars might start stepping on each other's toes. Sometimes players might trying to step on each other or maybe try to stay out of their way. But as a result, it does still mean that you can score amazing goals like Bluey just found with a feed from Farah.
Such a beautiful read from Farah, really noticing that small gap in the defense, noticing, okay, I've got 2 players off the Method team onto my left side and 1 player is up in that corner, noticing that Bluey was pretty much free to play with, and then he just shoves it on towards that orange box, and Bluey just has a wide open net to score. And beautiful a showcase of how these guys know what is going to happen and what is happening on that playfield. These guys doing a wonderful job.
Set up from Farah. Bluey trying to follow it around, but so far not to be. Chaussette, of course, holding on to most of the control. It's 2 players a lot. And Farah just challenge each other. They just tussle with each other, trying to gain control, the upper advantage, the positional advantage for their sides as the ball locks on once again. Good shot will come through. Farah will score that goal. 3-1 for PSG.
That's not an own goal for some reason. I think it was. Magnus, yes. Actually, I think he tried to contest Farah there, but in a very lucky position for him. But nevertheless, it wasn't into an upper 90. I like those upper 90 shots. They're like extremely precise, but perhaps Magnus, it's the wrong goal, man. You got to score in the blue one.
And 2 minutes left on the clock. It has to start getting a little bit close for it. 2 goals for Method to find in this first game if they want to try and put it into contention, and they will challenge for it a lot with a very good shot, but there are 2 players that are there to defend, and Bluey will defend it in its finest, feeding it out towards Shorset. Ferrer will take control, passing it up towards the front field, and trying to get control, feed up towards the centre. Bluey trying to see if he can get a shot, but a little bit too far off angle, and a double deck comes down. Nets and Harris and Shorset taking each other out, looking for control of the ball. It actually opens up an opportunity for Method, but sadly a lot is just unable to find that particular goal, and Ferrer is just running wild, trying to see if they can score a goal, and yes, he will. Feed it to Bluey, and Bluey will score the 4th.
An initial demo on, I believe, I'm not sure who it was, but they actually on Magnus just really open up the entire defense of Method. And once again, it's Bluey there to take advantage of that, get that goal in. They're doing such a good job right now in PSG, where they're just so confident using those demos and their advantage, and they're not really trying to do that. Is close. Nobody to follow that up, though. Metzo was so ready to actually get that shot in, but he just didn't yet. And now it's 4-1 in the favor of PSG. They're looking extremely solid at the moment.
A lot seem to have the perfect lineup right there to score another goal, to bring Method back into it, but suddenly the control tips for the favour of PSG as Bluey goes for another shot. Metzenaris is there to defend, but there's 60 seconds left on this clock and still 3 goals for Method to find as PSG continue to challenge. It just whittles the timer down, it just whittles the amount of opportunities that Method have down and down a little bit further on. 45 left on the clock as Bluey sets it up a lot with a defensive. Will still get challenges. Mets, never mind, will score an own goal for PSG.
Look at that shot from Farah. I mean, that is not entirely calculated. That is just really unlucky for the team of Method right now. That's the second unlucky goal that they've had in this series. I mean, perhaps it's the first game. I don't really want to say that these teams really got the nerves into. Perhaps, you know, it's Method. Really, they want to settle the score here. But right now it's not really working for them. But still, it's the first match in the long run. They got to think of the long game in this matchup here. Bluey, though, can he get that in? Ooh, he's always so dangerous with those aerial goals.
Yeah, of course, this is game 1 looking to go to the favour of PSG, but that's just 1 in this best of 7, as you said. A grand total of, well, possibly 21 full games from these 2 teams. So we can imagine that, you know, at the very most, you know, at the very least, Method may just be trying to feed out PSG, or, you know, trying to understand their sort of game plan going into this one, because it is going to be a very long night. There's still many, many more games to come out of these 2 teams. But yeah, 5-1 will be the ending scoreline. So far, a dominant start from PSG, but we still have a couple more games to see if that will still ring true.
I mean, I honestly think it's just Method really warming up, trying to get ready. It's just the first game, so we can't base a lot of facts into this, but for PSG, it's looking extremely positive. They're like, okay, we got a 5-win victory in the very first round. I mean, they have to just carry on this momentum, prove that they're extremely strong. But we've seen somewhat the same thing happen in the previous matchup, where we saw PSG dominate Method in the first round of their best out of 5 series back in RLCS, and then Method came home, took 2 games off of them, looked really strong. So perhaps it's just Method warming up, trying to get themselves ready, trying to really understand what you said is what PSG is doing, and, you know, get into that vibe, because these 2 teams haven't really clashed too often with each other in tournaments. So, you know, especially this long run, it's going to be a very challenging one for both teams.
Definitely untried territory that we will be stepping into already in towards this second game. Method down by 1 already. Let's see if they can potentially bring this one back, as you said. You know, in that best of 3 series, it was the second game that they managed to take alongside the 4th. Still opportunities available for the boys in yellow, but early advantage goes to the favour of Shorset and Bluey, who will try for a shot off the backboard. Ferrer will get it in. Nicely done, the passing play. Eventually it sets up for PSG.
I love the fact that even with that open net, I think he wanted to score that, but he actually hit that backboard knowing, like, okay, I could go for the solo play, or I can play with my teammates, hit that crossbar and actually let it drop down, force the defenders to actually go towards that shot and try to get that out. And they put him in such an awkward position. Farah really reading that situation, getting that win. And it's once again just that passing play between PSG that is so extremely solid, and they're really continuing on that from the previous series.
And they will once again take control of this ball, feed it up into the orange danger box, but not getting so close to get that goal. Bluey may be able to follow it around here. Does set it up once again. Metzenaris looking for control when will feed it out into the open. Chaussette going in with a shot, and Magnus there with a great defend. It's going straight up towards the danger box. Metzenaris trying to get the goal in, but he's too far to the right-hand side. And as a result, it does hit the blue post with a lot, and Magnus trying desperately to regain control, to have some sort of dribble control of this ball at the moment. Tries to set it up for a goal, and indeed Magnus looks like he will follow it around alongside a lot. Tries to go for the shot, but once again Ferrer is there for the defensive.
You have to be really careful with those triple commits. In the previous years, I saw them go like they became a little bit more confident and really started to, perhaps overcommit a little bit too much. And that gave a lot of dangerous room for Method to work with. If they're going to continue on with that streak, Method is going to get so many more opportunities to get some extremely dangerous plays going. So PSG really have to watch out for those sorts of things.
Magnus is down, a shot will come through from Ferrer, but unable to find the angle. As a result, a lot will challenge and actually will take out Chaussette for it. Another gap in the fence open up for Method against PSG as they once again get close to the box. Metzenaris feeds it off the backboard. Good shot can come through. Ferrer's there to challenge, and he will be able to do so as it's once again in the centre line. Ferrer will challenge against a lot, and a lot will get taken out for it. And a very good shot from Bluey. There's no one in the goal, but Metzenaris gets the defensive in towards that back line, feeds it back out to a lot, who will once again go in for a shot defended against relatively easily by Chaussette, but Magnus comes in from the side as well. Bluey there and waiting to get that one away. It's deny Method the opportunity to even the scoreline, and we are approaching 2 minutes 30, the halfway point of game number 2 here. The aggression coming out from Method could still work towards their favour, they do, and Bluey just unable to find it. I don't know what happened there, but it just seemed like he wasn't confident in his save.
I mean, I think he had enough boost to actually get that in, but he just barely missed that shot. It was extremely close. He had enough boost to work with from that backboard. It's just that last flick that he did, just so slightly under that ball. Now this gives a huge opportunity for Method. Are they doing it? Yes, they do. The initial thought, I was confident that might actually not went in due to that crossbar hit, but it actually worked out in the end for them.
And once again, that is the chemistry of Method. Magnus realising his teammate was unable to get the goal, wrapped back in from the back and scored it with that backboard pass. So Method are now in the lead for this game, past that halfway point. PSG, for the first time this matchup, will be on the back foot. Let's see how they can deal with it. A little over 2 minutes on the clock, and Bluey will feed. But look at Metzenaris, perfectly done, perfectly intercepted. We'll score a third for Method.
An extremely nice play from Metzenaris. They're really noticing, okay, all 3 players there of PSG just moved up a little bit too much. There was no one rotating back towards that goal to get any sorts of clear going, because they expected their teammate to actually push it forward too much. And then, it's a risk. You got to trust your teammates. You really got to put your trust, especially in these high-end matches. And yeah, sometimes if your teammates makes a slight mistake, it can mean a lot of disaster for them. But now their teamwork might be on point as they get some passing plays going, completely shutting down the defensive Method and getting a 2-3 in for them.
Finding that one with the defensive of Magnus. Bluey able to score that goal by realising there's no other players from Method there to defend it. And that may be one of the key weaknesses that PSG can exploit so far. It is 2-3, now within a 1-goal game as 2 minutes has ticked by. PSG will ramp up their aggression. Chaussette feeding it around. Metzenaris is there for control, and with a little bit of blocking play, we'll be able to get it alongside a lot as they feed it between the 2 players straight out in towards the midfield and up in towards the blue half of the pitch right now. Back in towards that orange corner, and Magnus and Metzenaris are here for control. Ferrer also challenging, will get very aggressive up against a lot. And there's also Bluey there to feed it in towards the centre. Chaussette trying to get a good shot, but he can't quite find it. Bluey, as a result, will get demoed. And Method will be looking for a little bit of control back against Bluey. Magnus will feed it up forward again, in towards the corner. A lot with a very good shot. And that will make it within 2. Method extend their lead once again.
That pass from Magnus is really shooting it, and a lot just noticing that play was going to happen. And Ferrer just, how do you even work with that? Not expecting. Perhaps Ferrer thought they might going to hit that backboard, but a lot just cutting in, just shoving it away from the Ferrer and just getting it in. That is just some beautiful play, really knowing when you have to go for those sorts of shots. That was a bit shaky there in defense, but still, that is some beautiful passing play from the team of Method.
Now look at a lot. He may be able to get control up towards this blue box all on his own. Almost put it out towards Magnus. The timing wasn't quite right. And alongside the defensive of PSG, they will deny a fifth for Method so far, but he's still got 2 to find. So once again, Bluey leads the charge of aggression for PSG. It's centered up by Metanaris, who is trying his best to get the defensive on through. Farah hits it off the crossbar. Metanaris does rotate in time, but Farah is still here. And as is Chaussette, trying to get that second touch, trying to get that shot, but unable to find it. As a result, Mets now has control of the ball, trying to pass it on through, almost faked out 2 defenders. But fortunately, Farah is there and will pass it out towards Bluey. A lot will challenge once again in that corner. 30 seconds, PSG. Time is ticking away, and Method may be likely to score a 5th goal right here in the box. Farah is there for the defensive. Mets will still keep up the aggression, and as will Magnus. Goes for a shot, can't quite chip it in, neither can a lot, but time is ticking away. 15 seconds. I don't think PSG can bring this scoreline back.
I mean, technically, it would still be possible, especially if you have players like Bluey, Farah, Chaussette in your team. I mean, chances are that could happen, but Magnus there, demoing Bluey, really making sure, yeah, you guys are not going to be taking it home this win. We're going to settle the score 1-1. These guys are really looking to make this extremely close for us. I mean, this is only game number 2 of this series, and these guys are already fighting like it's perhaps one of the biggest finals of a tournament that we have seen perhaps in the Rocket League. These guys are really trying to push it, really adapting to each other's play styles, and that is so cool to see what these guys are really developing. Method looking extremely solid, so much more aggressiveness on their offense, and their defense has, you know, locked up a lot more. I haven't really seen too many weird mistakes that they had in the first series, and they didn't make those silly unlucky plays. So they're really stepping up, improving a lot over the previous series, and, you know, perhaps it was just warming them up, or they had to warm up.
Yeah, well, I mean, even then, you know, you've got plenty of time for mistakes. You've got plenty of time for these 2 teams to come up with counter tactics, counter measures to each other's side. We're now up to a 1-1 series with Method taking game 2. We're on to game 3 now of our first series. It's still a very long night ahead of us, so let's see who will come out on top for the time being. A very similar sort of situation to how RLCS played out as well, I should add, with both teams picking games off each other left, right, and center. But now in towards the aggression, Bluey faking it out. I'm not sure if that was on purpose, but it definitely was a fake. Magnus will still look for control alongside a lot, and they will feed it up, trying to get this opening goal. It is very dangerous to come through, but so far not to be, as Magnus is demoed, as is Metzenaris, and Bluey will try and look for a shot for it as a result. There are players here in the goal, but Farah will still feed it around. A little bit too far on the right, a little bit too far off angle. Chaussette is still here challenging in that corner, bouncing it off, centered up. A lot there for a defensive. It's not going to happen just yet.
He's just really trying to figure out some different angles to get that goal in, but so far they haven't really been too successful. They are getting there, and the pressure is really scary. Once they get towards that orange box, you really want to get that ball as far away as possible. A lot might get that in. Ooh, those situations are so close, it's so tricky if you don't react that too quickly towards that, and you might just drop a goal there. Oh my God, Magnus.
Wow.
Did he just read that? Did he just pull that off? I'm just going to go into his player cam. Did he just pull that off? Look at that. Yeah, that was calculated. Not even like the meme calculated. That was calculated.
GG. Well played to Magnus. That's all I can say about that. That's like, when you realize players are overextended, when you can see that a team is too far pushed up and you can find that angle, then you're always going to take that. And just perfect game sense from him to find the opener for Method past that first minute mark in the matchup. Now there's a lot. We'll also try to see if he can follow it up of his own accord. Metzenaris will challenge. Chaussette there will look for follow-up control, and many demos coming out from both sides. It really is an aggressive game from both PSG and Method, but so far it is Method with the ball control, the important control, and a Fed come in. Not quite the redirect that Metzenaris was looking for. Challenged again, Farah, Magnus. They're trading debts. How are these guys able to get kills in an on-kill game? Oh, Bluey, very close. Chaussette gets the redirect. A very calculated feed, very disciplined play with control. But in the end, it is Chaussette to score the goal for PSG.
I can't believe that happened. I don't think Method can actually believe that happened either. They were so certain Blue was going to connect with those shots, but he just completely whiffed on it. I don't want to say that he totally planned for that to whiff, but, you know, it worked out for him. He got the goal in for his teammates, so, you know, it's like probably the best pass in the century. Or not. Maybe that's, you know, I'm over-exaggerating a little bit. But, you know, it was good nevertheless.
I'm pretty confident that PSG did not intend for Bluey to feed that right up to the goal and allow Shore Set to come through. I'm 85% confident in that. I'm not a colorcaster, but I'm pretty confident in saying that much. So Bluey with a very nice, good shot again. Magnus will be able to defend it, passing it off to Metz, who will also go for his own shot, but a little bit too far back in the defensive, of course, has lined up for PSG. Now feeding between the two frontline players, Magnus and Bluey challenging for control. They've got 2 minutes and 30 on the clock. We're at the halfway point, but Shore Set with a redirection. Bluey, misses his shot on shot. Farah also trying to get a shot too high on the crossbar. A lot's there for the defensive anyway, and Shore Set will follow it up. But Magnus is just on point with his defensive. Shore Set finally going to break a bit of defensive, and Bluey and Farah will try and feed it past the defenders. It does get past the first and the second, but unable to get in the goal as it once again hits the crossbar. Goes right in. A great counter from Magnus, sniping it in the back of the net, and 2-1 to the favor of Method.
That defense from Method is so on point. Like, that pressure from PSG, that is so scary, but they're just cooling it down like it's no big deal. It's easy, you know. It's only PSG, perhaps arguably the number 2 of EU. You know, these guys are doing it. They're just making it look so easy, and they're so confident and so sure of themselves that, yeah, we're going to keep that ball away from our net. And then with that solid counter shot, just one simple tap on that ball and they get it in. I mean, that really shows why Method is so good at the moment and, you know, currently in the number 1 spot of EU.
A 1-goal lead above PSG. Still a little under 2 minutes for them to make this work, so this game is still up in the air. If they ever saw it, Magnus may try and change that off the backboard. A lot's going to put it in the back of the net. It does get defended against by Shore Set and Farah. Bluey also trying to get control, but so far Method are ramping up their aggression, trying to throw them into disarray. Eventually Bluey will get it, try feed it up, chips it up, but Magnus is there for a defensive pretty nicely done alongside Farah, who will also put it in. Not going to quite get that shot. Metzenaris is there for the defensive. And Bluey will once again pop it up centre field. Magnus with control, trying to feed it around towards a lot. No redirect today, but it is centred up. Maybe a shot can come through. Well, Metzenaris going to feed it off the backboard, but again, no proper shot, no proper setup coming in from Method, as they've still got a minute left to try and take this game away.
I think that the reason is why PSG isn't really scoring. Every single attempt they had is extremely close. They might get it in. No, not just yet. Like, even with the solidness of the defensive Method right now, all the extreme pressure from PSG, nothing extremely scary came off their attempts just yet. Perhaps a few good opportunities, but like with all the shots, they already have, 9 shots on net, and only one of them went in. They really have to figure out the way to just get around that defensive Method, and they only have 30 seconds to equalize the score. Almost did it there.
So many close shots, so many close snipes that only just get defended against by Method as they rotate into position. And as you say, 30 seconds for PSG, now just 20. Time is ticking away and it's ticking faster than ever. The pressure starts to ramp up for the boys in blue. And speaking of blue, Bluey will gain control. Try double touch it, try redirect it back into the Method net, but so far not to be. Farah with a defensive, and they are running out of time a lot with control. Passing it off, Shore Set with a defensive alongside Bluey as Magnus feeds up in the air. It's now down to a ball touching the ground, and it will touch the ground. Method will take another game away from PSG.
Just a solid display from Method, really. These guys really had a very locked up defense, especially Magnus, 5 saves there for his own. But really, like, every single, like, the amount of pressure that PSG put onto Method really handled that extremely well. And really, Method, like, PSG really had a lot of struggles to get around that defense and get some passing plays going. But then again, all the shots that I saw from PSG weren't that extremely spectacular. Like, not a lot of speed on it, not a lot of passing play between those two teams. So perhaps they want to work a little bit more on that, get some more speed going. That's what they're known for, getting that ball in and quick counterattacks from their end. But yeah, with that solid defensive Method, they really got to use perhaps more demos, even though they've been doing that quite a lot throughout the series. They perhaps want to just figure out that one single thing that can just disrupt the defensive Method and get some goals for them going.
I mean, yeah, I think you pretty much summed it up right there. But when you talk about these two teams in particular and the way that they kind of hold things up, you know, you've got PSG being aggressive, and Method's. I want to say Method's defensive is almost down to their chemistry together. You know, like we said before. I mean, before we started the series, you know, this is a team that have been together for a very long time. You know, they've had many games together. They've played for, you know, for almost the entire year as a 3-man unit. So I feel like their defensive can come down to just learning from their experiences and their strengths. And speaking of that, great passing play. Magnus will score the opener for Method in game 4.
Oh my goodness, that pass from a lot. Oh man. I kind of want to just sing a song, but we'll probably get copyright sued for that. But that was just beautiful. How do you even, like, if you open up a series like that, continuing on the winning streak that they already have, majestical. Only word to call it, majestical.
Very nicely done, of course, here. The opening, like 15, 30 seconds or so of the matchup. It will be Method win with the advantage. 1-0 against PSG, and PSG will try and come out swinging as they feed it into the corner and also up towards the Method side of the pitch in general. A lot will be able to counteract, gets a bit, some good shot on through, and actually feed it out towards Magnus, who will score a second. Very nicely done. The team play for Method starting to wrap up very well here.
And nobody's contesting there. Bluey went for that boost spot while there was no boost. Why would he consider to do that? I mean, like, knowing that, I believe it was Farah in that net, he could have just cheated up, tried to contest that ball at least to buy his goalie more time to get some defensive action going, but he just didn't. And now it's 2-0 for Method. Method once again just continuing on their momentum and looking extremely strong at the moment.
Look at PSG once again, the aggression ramped up, ball being in their side of the court, and demos now starting to appear from the Blue Boys. Chaussette with a shot, Metanaris is there in the pitch in the net itself. Ferrer trying to get a shot of his own right, but can't quite find it in close range in the upper 90 with Bluey setting things up and setting it up once again. Eventually it does tip to Method's control. Eventually they do get it back in towards the blue box, but Ferrer is once again rotating in time to defend it against a lot who has control here in the blue side corner. Chaussette also feeding it up, getting challenged against by Magnus, and also a lot who follows it back towards that backboard. Magnus trying to set it up for Metanaris, but unable to find it here. Still 2-0. PSG now in with another chance, another setup. Bluey can't quite find it though, because once again, Magnus is there to disrupt. Magnus is there to defend.
Magnus is just really the dedicated goalkeeper from Method, putting in so much time, but also he scored 2 goals of this match. Like, this guy is all over the place, looking so solid for his team, and PSG currently don't really have any idea how to really work around this. I mean, every single time they get even closer towards the orange box, it just gets disrupted by the teams of Method, and these guys are doing a wonderful job right now. Hopefully PSG is going to be able to really work around that, become more aggressive, and get some more goals for going for them.
2 minutes 30, halfway point of the game now. So once again, Chaussette tries to feed it around these players. He does get it past 2 defenders, but not past a lot. He's too smart for that, as Mets will actually feed it in. Very good shot coming in from a lot.
Wow.
Calculated angles.
Wow.
Rocket League.
Oh my, that angle. Metza. And a lot. I mean, I've been talking about, like, a lot of people, like, perhaps thought that a lot perhaps might not be in the matchup with Magnus and Metanaris. They might drop, but literally this team is, like, they're so good. Like, their passing plays are godlike. Bluey now, oh, I mean, he's scary. Once he gets in the air and gets that air drag going, he wants to score that, and he has done that countless times. So if he happens to do that, you want to contest that early, and once again, they just do it. Method really on point right now.
PSG, oh, very nice passing play. Bluey got it out of the way. Chaussette didn't even need to challenge against the defensive of Method, because it seems like the defensive of the PSG side is all the way in the orange net. 3-0 still, and they have a little under 2 minutes to try and get this scoreline even. Once again, Chaussette and Ferrer will challenge. Chaussette, close range here, but again, unable to counteract against the Method defensive as a lot chips it up in that box. Going to get a follow-up from Metanaris, who pops it into the upper 90. Does get defended against by Chaussette, and Bluey will wrap in to get it back out of their control now. Feeding up, good shot. Bluey trying to get it in a lot. And Metanaris, so they're the defender, even though it did go to the left-hand side of the net itself, so not too much of a problem on that side of the defensive. But once again, PSG are in a situation when they're starting to run out of time. They're starting to run out of chances. A little over 60 seconds on the clock, and they are still 3-0 down against Method here.
I mean, they have some decent chances, but no real big threats currently towards the Method team. I mean, they're trying to figure out some passing plays that you just saw, like perhaps 10 seconds ago, would have had a good opportunity there. But they just don't seem to really have an idea how to work around that defense yet. Perhaps Farah actually with that beautiful chip. No, once again, Magnus, that powerhouse in that defense, that mountain right now, just there. Oh my God. And a lot just shuts it down. I want to give some claps to him. A lot, really. Just OP, man. He's just OP. Look at that. Wow.
And that probably also means the final nail in the coffin for PSG in this particular game. You know, I'm not doubting the opportunity for a comeback, but they've got 40 seconds to do it. A lot of work to do in a short space of time, and this is not the way to start it off. Method getting it out towards the blue side of the pitch, but Bluey will feed it around the defenders, try to see if he can get it in. No, not quite. Farah will be there to follow it up, but they are running effectively out of time. Sure set unable to get the follow-up. Farah will det Metzenaris. 20 seconds left now. Bluey and Farah challenging against Metz. And Metz will eventually gain control alongside Magnus, who will just stall for time at this point. That's all Method need to do, just stall for time. 10 seconds on the clock. This one's over. Method are going to go 4-1 up in the series. No, sorry, it is 3-1 up. Sorry, my mistake. It's 4-0 up in this matchup, but 3-1 up in the overall series. They are doing pretty stunning so far to kick things off.
Method, I did not expect them to play that extremely. I mean, in the previous matchup, when we saw these two teams clash, Method did an extremely good job, but now they've set the bar. Okay, we've got them in a very desirable spot. These guys are looking extremely strong at the moment. And I mean, how do you work to get around that defense? All players are looking so strong, especially Magnus right now just putting in so much work for his team. Same goes for a lot. These guys have been playing so well. Their passing plays right now, it's something that PSG is really having a lot of struggles with to just work around. And it's a really perhaps a difficult situation because PSG, they have some action going in that offense, but they don't really seem to get too close towards this orange net. And every single time they do, there's either a Magnus that just really just shoves that ball onto the corner, onto the midfield, just clearing out that area. And he's just doing so well right now, just keeping Method alive. And they're doing such a good job at the moment that PSG is really just slowly falling down. But then again, they still have a lot of games to work with. So, you know, don't look down on this. I mean, they're still not out. It's the best out of 3, it's best out of 7s. I mean, they have so many games to look out that they want to think about the long run. They really want to think about the long run and work with that situation. And perhaps, okay, the next round, we got to take that and work with that momentum and start to get some goal scorers going, start to get those team plays going a little bit more. And perhaps then they will show some more dominance over Method.
Yeah, but so far it has been the Method show. You know, they are doing pretty decently of their own accord. You know, they are, again, it's that fight of star power versus teamwork. And so far, I'm seeing a lot of the teamwork from Method really shine in their defensive play, when they can hold down the shots, when they can make sure that PSG can't allow their stars to really perform. You know, it really does kind of almost mitigate the risk that you have against a team like PSG. And for Method, this is perfect, obviously. They're 3-1 up in the series. They're 1 away from taking our first series here in Rival Week's show match between PSG and Method. Already straight out of the gate, it looks like they may find themselves in with an opportunity, but the defensive from PSG is there, and now they will feed it up. Bluey into the corner. Farah also up in the mix a lot. Finding it back around, sure set, it's control. Metzenaris, of course, challenging, and Farah will feed it out towards Bluey, who will try for a shot. But again, as you say, there's Magnus there. Solid defensive. Method can really just rely on him to be as solid as a rock here in this orange part of the pitch.
I mean, he's just always there. He's just always there. There's nothing really to say about that. Now, PSG, though, they really have to win out this one. If they drop this one, they will lose the first round. So they've got a lot of pressure on their heads because you don't want to be that team that loses in the first round, because Method right now have a lot of momentum going. Every single time that they make a shot attempt on that orange net, it's coming close, but just not close enough.
4 minutes on the clock. First minute does not open up a goal for either side, so PSG doing decent enough to ensure Method can't get that opening start that they really need, you know, that goal that puts them in a decent standing. They will once again defend it as Magnus is there in the orange side of the pitch, sure set. Feeding it around to Bluey, who will gain control and will actually put it past 2 players right here. There is Magnus once again there for the defensive, and he should be able to get it out. But can he fight against Farah? The answer to that question is no, and sadly Metzenaris also didn't see it coming. So PSG take the first goal of Game 4.
Beautiful fake. I like my fakes. Bluey did a beautiful job there. And that's really just disrupting that. Using patience in your offense can just really, in an intense match like that, can really throw off the defense. And that is pretty much what happened there. And they did a really good example of that, where just using your patience, remaining calm in matchups like these, even though you're in the losing, never mind. 1-1. I was praising them, but Metzenar is just like, just let X-Fighter just ramble on. I'm just going to score this goal.
GG. Well played. 1-1 method. Well, managed to break the PSG defensive, and any color analysis point that we were gonna make is now just completely nullified and voided. But still, we got time to work with again, which is still match point or series point right now for the method side. PSG still have a little bit of time to work with to ensure it doesn't go that far, but Magnus once again up close and personal alongside Metsu, could just feed it, chips it, but unable to get the shot that he needs. Still again, Magnus and a lot will try again. Second touch. Nope, not going to quite find it. There's Metz getting it past Set, and Metzenaris will score the second goal, put Method back in the lead, and put PSG in a significant danger zone right now.
And the thing is, that little touch from a lot, nobody of the PSG defense just thought, okay, that's going to happen. I mean, those sorts of solid touches over to your teammates is really showing why Method is doing so well in this competition. They're putting on so many weird angles and so many good team plays that they're constantly working around that defense of PSG, and it's working so well for them. And currently they're in the lead. If they win this one, they will win the first round of this best out of 3 series, of the best out of 7s, of course.
2 minutes and 30 just about left on the clock. We have hit the halfway point of game number 5. Set feeding it around, trying to get that shot on shot a lot in a very, very risky angle. Try to defend it. That could have gotten an own goal for Method. But either way, not to be just, Set once again looks for control, looks for that very dominant ball control that he's trying to find there. Lot able to get it back out, and Metzenaris will follow it through in towards the blue corner. Try and feed it off the backboard in the box, and Bluey will be there. There's Magnus. Very good shot. A little bit too aggressive, though, and actually overshoots it to the left-hand side. So no goal today, no third for Method, and for PSG, that is a lifesaver, because right now they need to ramp up their star power. They need to find a goal. They need to find an equalizer against Method. As you said, chances are it will be Series 1 going to their favor, and as a lot makes it closer and closer, it's now a 2-goal game, 3-1 to Method.
Method has been using that ceiling so much throughout this entire matchup, and it's been working so well. Metzenaris and a lot are connecting on so many good levels, perhaps outer space levels. That's actually terrible. But, the fact is that they're using that ceiling so much to his advantage. And I haven't really seen that too often in Rocket League. Usually when the ball hits the ceiling, it becomes a little bit more unpredictable. So, these guys are working so well. Look at that. Those short passing plays, they're constantly changing up their strategy, constantly spice up their plays. And it's so difficult for PSG to work with. But now Farah, with one defender left, just using that backward to its just full advantage.
Metzenaris is no Magnus, apparently. Can't quite find the defensive that he needed. A little bit of banter as well. What a save coming in from Metzenaris. But no, 3-2. Method still in the lead, but PSG have now opened up a decent opportunity, and they will play Set forward to try see if he can set things up. Bluey with a very nice redirect, but too close range. Magnus is there, just able to scramble the defensive and get it back together. Make sure that PSG cannot score that equalizer, but Bluey will still feed up a lot with a nice bit of control, a good snipe shot. Set there for the defensive and back across the orange wall. He will look for control. Bluey also going to get close range and try and pass it off and try and feed up against Method. Metz comes up towards the corner, a minute still left on the clock, so there is time for PSG to play with, but once again they're in this situation where they will start to run out of time. Bluey challenging Magnus, disrupts the ball's path, opens up an opportunity for Farah, who does redirect, and he will redirect it off Bluey, who gets it off the backboard. Set, where are you? No 3-man player can come through as he's still playing defensive, but he will feed it for the backboard once again. Magnus out towards Metzenaris, will feed it towards the blue half, and he will try play this corner, try play it against the 3 lone PSG players. Once again, Farah and Bluey with control, passing it between those two and in towards the middle area. Shawset, now's your chance to shine, and he will get the shot. Second touch, will get it in the upper 90. And a 3-3 scoreline. PSG will even up against Method.
Shawset left all three defenders in the net just confused and dazzled by his skills, but really that double commit on the net, it just really shows a very stressful moment in the communication of Methods. Like, oh shit, I have to go up there, and they're just both just pretty much choked on that moment. And Shawset just keeping his calm, getting that pressure in, equalizing, keeping his team alive for now. Now they've got 20 seconds to work with if they don't concede this goal.
Oh my God!
Slamming it down. He has not, like, we're continuing that lead. Method is not giving up, and a lot. Just wow. Wow. Just wow.
The perfect redirect for the moment, and a lot may still shut this series down off the back of a single goal. It's 4-3, 13 seconds left, and now PSG need to run quicker and faster and better than ever now. 7 seconds in towards the orange corner. Shawset will look for control. A lot's going to challenge. It's right up in the box. Bluey, where are you? You need to get a shot right now. It does touch the floor, but just before that last second ticks by, and Bluey will look for it. Farah, you need to try and keep this ball up. No, he cannot. And Method, in a 4-1 fashion, will win the first best-of-7 series in their rival week matchup.
Oh man, this last matchup, that was close. Finally, PSG woken up, and they finally brought some fire to this game, especially like those last 10 seconds. They had some very decent chances, but Metzenars, that last contest, that last 50-50 in that are so crucial for Method to make sure that they remain in that lead and took home the first win in this best out of 3 series. They did a wonderful job there. Such a dominating performance from Method as well throughout the entire first round. I personally perhaps didn't expect that too much of them. I thought it was going to be a little bit more closer, but perhaps in round number 2, where we have another set of best out of 7, these guys are going to be more closer. We've really seen that, especially in the last round, PSG woken up a lot more, but still, I think some, especially like the first half of this match, they still were a little bit perhaps weak, sort of say, like they didn't look as scary. I don't know, especially like players like Bluey isn't really popping off at the moment. Usually that guy is just all over the place and just scoring the most ridiculous goals on the most ridiculous angles. But right now it's not perhaps working as well as he's liked right now, but they are working on it. They are really warming up perhaps, and with this round number 2, they might actually get it in.
Round 2, Series 2 is up after this very short break, so do not go anywhere. PRL Rival Week rolls on after this. Welcome back to PRL Rival Week. It is day 4 and PSG are taking on Method. Method have won the first best of 7 at a 4-1. A pretty dominant scoreline, but we still have a few more matches left to go in the tank. My name is Switchblade J. Joining me is X-Fighter, and quite the dominant scoreline that we actually weren't expecting that from these two teams. We were expecting this one to be a close, but it seems like the chemistry of Method just seems to be, outplaying the star power of PSG.
Yeah, they're playing out of their minds right now. Like, all three players of Method are really connecting with each other and getting some crazy passing plays going, really using that ceiling and the air to their advantage. And right now, PSG slowly waking up. They won the first series, of course, or the first round. And after that, they have been a little bit silent. But in that last round, they brought it close again, especially that last half of the last series that we saw in the first round. That was getting extremely close and extremely tense, and they actually had us like sitting on the edge of the seat for the last 10 seconds as well, like coming extremely close to perhaps tying up that series and forcing overtime. But luckily for Method, they didn't do that. Now PSG seem to have woken up a little bit. Perhaps that first series was just their wake-up plan. It's like, okay, we're ready now. We've got our time. We know how Method is playing right now. So perhaps, we made ourselves ready, and we're really going to show what PSG is worth in this second round of this best out of 3 of best out of 7 matchups. But the thing is, PSG has to win now. They have to come in clutch, really show them what it's worth, because Method is really here trying to settle the score. I know I can bet on it. They're like, yeah, we really, really, really want to take down PSG because, we've lost to them 2 weeks ago, and now we want to settle the score, show to them who's more consistent, and of course use this momentum to go into the World Finals and into the land of the RLCS and really get that spirit behind them, showing okay, we can be extremely consistent throughout a lot of matches in a long series against a certain team. And I think this could be a huge potential boost for the motivation. But then again, we can't really shut PSG out just yet.
Yeah, that's the whole point of the rival week. You have plenty of opportunities to make up your mistakes, and for PSG, this is their time. They need to take this best of 7, at the very least 4 matches, to go into a game or series number 3 against the Method side. But just talking about that particular matchup in the last one, we were kind of building up this this way of how Method have a lot of chemistry compared to PSG. But something that I've noticed particularly, or something that I noticed in particular, when you have a team built around star power, and this doesn't necessarily apply to Rocket League, it applies to a couple other esports that I'm involved with. But when you have a team that's very based on star power, you can have a lot of instances where the stars can step on each other's toes. And I can't help but feel that this is kind of not to a great extent, but to a certain extent applying to PSG, because there are sometimes when I see Bluey and Chaussette in particular just almost being in the exact same place at the exact same time, trying to play off of each other, but in an aggressive way that doesn't quite seem to fit into a team-based play style.
But the thing is, and I'm not really used from PSG, because they really seem to be connecting a lot throughout like what they've been doing. But the thing is, perhaps what we see here right now is perhaps the experience difference. PSG is a very young team. They've only formed up relatively recently. And Metzenores, Magnus, and a lot have been playing together for a long time, especially Metze and Magnus. These guys have been playing for so long. They're great friends. And then together with a lot, they really form such a dangerous team. And that shows right now. Perhaps this is actually a battle of experience. But then again, PSG really going to look to take some more games here right now, because they have to.
And already the start goes to the favour of Method as Metzenaris and co trying to feed it into the blue side of the pitch, into that blue goal, but Blue sets it up alongside Farah for their own counter-attack on the PSG side. Not going to quite find it, no early goals, but sure set. Trying to feed it past a lot. Bluey have to rotate back towards the defensive. Farah is here, but Bluey does get it out before he is needed, but a lot still in this box, and eventually PSG will be able to feed up towards their counter-attack. Farah on towards Metzenaris, there for the redirect, there for the defensive once again. This Method lock out their chemistry, their team play. Farah will feed it off the backboard, try to see if he can put it in, but no follow-up once again from PSG. Magnus will feed it past 2 defenders, but does get pushed out of the way in time. A lot will be there to try and receive and try and follow it up, but so far not to be. Farah, backboard, Bluey there to receive it. Not quite. First minute ticks down, no opening goals from either side.
That's relatively silent, but you usually see that in these sorts of games. After a small break, teams have to reestablish themselves, more focus in their gameplay, and perhaps, starting to recover from last game, especially PSG really needed to recover after that dominance performance from Method. I really got to settle down, talk things through, like, okay, what did we do wrong? Oh my God, a lot. How do you even calculate that? You literally just pushed out the offender and then get that goal in. That is like, could we count that as like a 8-ball save? Like, could we say that like a pull shot save, perhaps? I don't know.
Oh, it was a save regardless. Method commits so many players to that defensive, able to get that ball back away and set up their own counter-attack, but right back away. There's Ferrer, pushing the ball up, getting control for PSG. Blue will challenge and Ferrer will try and chip it back in, but once again, it just seems like Method, they have a stranglehold of ball control. It just doesn't feel like PSG can break this orange line here on the orange side of the pitch, but vice versa for Method at the same time. They're not really finding any goals of their own accord. Set will try for it, challenging against the lot, and Blue will be there to receive it off that backboard to the left-hand side of the net itself. Then Method will eventually regain control with Metzenaris feeding it up into the blue side corner, straight into the blue box. A shot to come through, Magnus there, but challenging against at least 2 players on the PSG side. Will not allow them the opportunity to score the opener.
They're not really working too well together. You mentioned that Bluey and Chaussette clashed up quite a few times together, like in the wrong placement. And you saw it previously as well. But they really weren't in the correct position, double committing in a lot of situations. And it's giving Method so much room to work with. Right now, it hasn't resulted in a goal for Method yet, but PSG has to be careful, space out a little bit more, work a lot better as a team together. And then they will, be sure that they really don't get countered a lot by Method.
Still 2 minutes left on the clock. Both sides yet to score. PSG getting it dangerously close inside that box though. Bluey and Chaussette will feed it off each other to try and get control back for the PSG side. Magnus is also there with control, playing a lot more aggressively this match in particular, alongside Metzenaris, who will feed it out towards a lot. No lineup just yet. The angle's not quite right for Method. Metzenaris will still look for it. Ferrer will challenge, tackle off towards Bluey, who will feed it into the orange corner and follow it through alongside Ferrer, who will look for a shot. It bounces between 2 of the Method players, so the defensive is pretty decently locked, and it comes back on through. Metzenaris trying to feed it past Bluey, but Chaussette is there for the defensive, and he will also take control, feeding it in towards the orange box. Can Bluey get the follow-up on the double touch? Not quite. That backboard a little bit too aggressive against it. Centered up. Not an opportunity for Chaussette to take advantage though, and Ferrer and Bluey are way too far ahead. We've still got a minute to go, and still yet to score, but Method are getting close, and PSG also finding no luck.
The close game that we won. A previous matchup, Method really showing a lot of dominance, but now PSG is crawling back. Oh, that was extremely close. A little bit of a shutdown in that blue net there between Bluey and Ferrer. That go extremely dangerous. It just really shows that right now the team play of PSG isn't really connecting too well as they would hope. And we've seen a lot better plays from PSG in the past, especially the times where they played against Method. They connected with a lot of crazy shots. But right now, Method seems to be in full control of this matchup, but still they haven't scored a goal yet. And there's only 30 seconds left on the clock.
PSG unable to find the setup, and neither are the Method side. Well, that being said, they are pretty much fine because of the defensive of PSG until Magnus goes ahead and does that. Picks it past the 2 defenders and manages to score the opener for Method with 23 seconds left on the clock as well. This match could already be over right here.
Magnus just putting in so much work for his team, being a defensive champion, being the goal-scoring champion right now. This guy is putting in so many hours for his team right now. And it all comes to the fact that the defense of PSG isn't on point. They had 2 players in net, whereas one could have potentially contested Magnus on that shot, and it just didn't. So they currently don't have that team play going on. Perhaps with these 5 seconds left, Bluey can score it in. No, it actually misses. And then the clutch save from a lot, making sure that Method actually gets another win, and they secure the first win of this round number 2.
PSG so unlucky towards the end right there. It felt like it was right there. It felt like Bluey was going to take this one to overtime, but no. Just a small misplay and no follow-up coming in from the PSG side means that There is no overtime. This is going to be the opening game of this best-of-7 series going to the favour of Method. And for PSG, that's not the way you want to start, you know. We still have a few more games to go. We've still got a full best-of-7 to play, but they're already down by 4-1 on the first series, and losing this opening game is not going to do well for your morale at all.
Exactly, but they are bringing it a lot closer than we see the previous matchups. Like a lot of high-scoring goals so far, of like matches so far, and now it's all come down to perhaps like one goal that decides what team is going to take home the win in every single series. So it's going to be a lot closer that I like from PSG, and they're starting to wake up a little bit, but not just enough. But I mean, Method is playing so solidly throughout the series. They're doing such a wonderful job. I mean, they're currently really deserving that lead in this series, but then again, PSG still looking extremely dangerous.
Still got that starter out to play with. They just need to line it up correctly. Farah will be the first man to fall to a demo of a lot as Method try and set things up into the PSG half of the pitch, and they will get it centered up for a goal. But Farah, great on his control side of things. He's actually going to pitch up the ball in towards the box, maybe even follow it up for a goal himself. But nope, allowing the control to fall to the hands of Magnus. Bluey will challenge alongside him. And Chaussette is here on the back lines trying to play defensive, puts it into the midfield. And Magnus will once again look for a redirect off a lot into the backboard. Never mind, it might just hit the crossbar instead. There's Metzenara trying to get another shot off the backboard. There's Magnus. They all hit the top crossbar. Not a single player from the Method three-man setup can find the opportunity to score a goal. As PSG once again wrap things back into the orange danger box. It's another shot that will come through from Method. But again, no cigar for either side.
Is he really on their back heel? But right now their defense is on point. Even though it looks a little bit shaky, they managed to get away with the pressure from Method. But now they have three men going for that shot, a double commit on that initial shot. And there he goes. I mean, that was so much risk. If they had one person just committing to that shot, they would have had that second man to get that second shot in and continue that pressure. But once you put in so much pressure at a certain point, you just have to back off because you will drop down on boots. You won't have enough boots to work with. And then again, sometimes it's best to just drop down, back towards your own net, resettle, reconfigure your rotation, and get some stuff going. Bluey, he's just not connecting with his shots throughout like the entire day so far, while he usually always does.
And Method are strong on their defensive, so every chance he gets, it seems like when he does have his shots on shots, Method have the likes of Magnus there to defend it. Speaking of Magnus himself, he will feed up aggressive, try challenge against Farah, who will look for a little bit of control. Chips it past one defender. Bluey misses it out, but Farah will still get for a shot. Bluey close range, feeds it off a lot, and a lot will defend it once again. No shot for Bluey, and no shot for Farah. Not even for Chaussette. He's trying to play defensive in this particular game. As Metz does get taken down, we're down to the second half of game number 2 right now. And once again, Method have a lot of aggression in towards this blue half of the pitch. Chaussette is down. Magnus with a very good shot. Chaussette does come back in time to redefend it, and Bluey and Farah are also here to support, and they do chip it in towards the goal and towards the upper 90, but hits the crossbar instead off Chaussette and off Bluey. Farah will look for control, but in that midfield, once again challenge, and Magnus will redirect it, might shoot it on through, not quite. Bluey is once again there for control, but again, 2 minutes left and neither side have scored the opener.
This is the close matches that we really wanted for. Both teams looking extremely focused, but there are mistakes here and there. The thing what I really notice is what Method is doing right now. Every single time they know, okay, oh, hang on, Magnus! Are you kidding me? Magnus, I managed it several times already. He's crazy. Look at that. Look, I've lost my words over that. That is just, oh man.
That is dirty. Magnus, you dirty man. What a way to open up this game for Method, and with 1 minute 30, a little over on the clock. PSG now. Again, it seems to be a repeating storyline at this point in time. They just keep losing that opener, and particularly in this series with a few seconds left on the clock right now, it means that they've got to try and get this next goal, and Bluey just isn't hitting his shots right now. South from PSG doesn't go well. Chaussette trying to challenge, but Metzenaris and a lot feed it off of each other. Ferret is there for the redirect, back into the orange side of the pitch and in towards that danger box. Bluey will try to see if he can pop it on through. Magnus is there for the defensive, and indeed Farah will try and follow it up, but he can't quite find it. Chaussette with a redirect, it's too high. Bluey with a redirect, that's too high. A lot will take control, feed it back up, and once again, Method will get control.
That is the pressure I really want to see from PSG. Like, they get close to that goal, getting some extremely dangerous. You really see now, right now, Method was a little bit shaky in that they were struggling to get that out, but they managed to because their defense is really solid. But that is the pressure I want to see from PSG. That was the first really scary opportunity they finally had in a lot of moments in this matchup. And if they can continue on that pressure, they only have 30 seconds left, but if they continue it on, they actually perhaps would be able to tie up this game.
Defensive has to come through. Method to try to set up for that second goal. That would be the nail in the coffin with 15 seconds. Netsunaris feeding it up alongside a lot, trying to get the redirect. He actually misses it. That allows Shawset and Pharaoh an opportunity alongside Bluey, but they need to hit it into the orange side of the pitch. They need to find a goal right now as the final second ticks by. It all comes down to this ball hitting the goal. And look at this, it's going to go right into the PSG net. Method don't even need to score the goal. It can just hit the ground, and they will be able to take game 2 of Series 2.
Oh man, Method is not kidding around, and it's just Magnus right now. Magnus just playing the game of life, even though he only scored 2 goals in round number 2. Like, he's just popping off. Like, both of those goals were extremely close and extremely nice. Like, both of them were extremely highlighted goals, and he's just doing so well right now. And I like though that these matches are becoming a lot closer. Both teams looking extremely focused and really not looking to get any mistakes going, although I do see some hiccups here and there. But right now Magnus is just playing so extremely well. I mean, we just gotta praise it. I did not expect such a dominating performance from Method. I thought PSG would have stepped up a lot more, but right now it's just Method's game, really.
Right now, in the Method camp, we're probably hearing a little bit of a sing-song, just lean on me. Magnus is strong, I'll be defense, and I'll play front too, or something like that. I don't know. It feels like that's what Method are currently playing at the moment. It's 2-0 up in the series. And Magnus will start things off with a setup, very aggressive out the gate. It almost feeds on through. If Pharaoh wasn't there, then that probably could have been a goal, but Metsunara still with a chance backboard in towards a lot. It does feed off Shawset, who does feed it back away into the orange danger box. Now, who's going to follow up, Pharaoh or Bluey? And Pharaoh, indeed, he is the man to feed it off. Bluey also on the backboard, but no setup. PSG unable to find the opener once again. The early game does not seem to go to the favor of any particular side in terms of the goals, but Method once again are strong. Bluey in with a good setup again, not going to find it. It just seems like, again, he's just not hitting his shots today. Something's really not right with Bluey, and neither is it right with the rest of the PSG side. Method will lock in their own particular setups, but at the same time, Vera will feed it up past the first minute of the matchup now. No goals turning to either side.
We all know Bluey as that guy is just really lurking in that midfield Meta trying to get that bump on. Like, there's been so many bumping action throughout this match. It was like, feels like bumper cars. But you see, like, Bluey usually looks around the midfield trying to get some goals. But as you said, he's just not connecting. I'm not sure what is going on. Perhaps maybe a little bit tired. I don't know what is going on. But, like, usually this is the guy that we expect to hit crazy angles, crazy aerials, crazy air directs. But he's just not pulling it off today. He's being really silent, and Method is just putting on such a dominating performance that it's just crazy. And I honestly did not expect this matchup to be so in favor for Method at the moment.
Yeah, it's definitely not the kind of series that we were expecting, and very good passing play from Magnus and a lot. Lean on me. Magnus is strong once again. It seems to be ringing out of the Method camp as a lot scores the opener for the boys in orange.
In these fast passing plays that Method are really just pulling off, constantly knowing where their teammates are, really seeing like, okay, he's there in that blue box, I can pass it over towards him, getting that angle. And they're so confident in doing that. They're always finding the connections between each other. Look at that pressure. Look at what they're being able to pull off. Like, even though you think, okay, that ball might actually get cleared away, they might back up to get some boost. No, they continue on. Just that final shot every single time, and it just makes them so strong.
And once again, the defensive for Method denies PSG setup. They were feeding it around. It looked so confident. It looked so on point. And then Mectanaris happened, and he blocked the ball from getting any closer to the orange net. He will also feed it past Bluey as Shawset also challenges for control straight up in this blue corner. Pharaoh will eventually feed it out. And Bluey unable to find the redirect. Pharaoh might find a redirect of his own. In towards the box once again. Shawset is here on the corner side of things. 2 minutes 30. We're past the halfway point again. in towards the danger zone now for PSG. Magnus into Metzenaris. Bluey will challenge out towards Farah. Farah will follow it around. Metzenaris also challenging as well. Puts it into the box and fades it back again from Magnus, who will play forward, will play challenger, while trying to get the shot on through. But again, nothing so far from Method. Just nothing for PSG for that matter. They have a false draw the opening goal. Bluey will be able to demo Metzenaris down. That might thin out the offensive line, but Magnus is still challenging. He'll still get a shot on through. Shorset does save it. Farah will look to try and follow it around, but now they need to wrap this one up. This is opening goal. Farah can be able to score it. No! A lot rotates in time to get the defensive. As two other players take themselves out of the action. PSG are really struggling to find this goal.
Farah had such a good chance to finally get that equalizer in. He had a wide open net. Plenty enough time to actually get a very nice, powerful shot on the net. But it's once again just shut down by the team of Method. And quickly with the counter in, Alot scores his second goal for this series.
3-0 looking good for PSG. Second goal for Method, a minute and a half to try and recover the situation in this game. Game 3 of 7, of course. This will put Method on, well, match point as well as series point for this particular matchup in this case. PSG need desperately to find themselves 2 goals. Bluey will set up for Farah. Sure set there to play backup and will feed it into the box once again, but Magnus, as solid as ever, will gain control and feed it back away alongside Metzenaris coming in from the same angle. Does get it past Bluey, eventually shoves him out of the way to try and set up the Method setup, but nothing to come through. Sure set with control, passes it out towards Bluey and towards that corner. A minute left to go on the clock. PSG can't keep playing like this. They need to apply the pressure. They need to try and get a shot on through. Farah will go for it. Magnus is there with a great defensive once again. Bluey is off angle one more time as well. PSG are struggling so much, and it really does not feel like the same game from these guys. You know, the first series was relatively all right. We showed some opportunities for them to really find this together, but this second series is really not going towards their side as Farah goes in with a shot. Metzenaris is once again there with a save. Time's ticking. PSG, they're running out of chances now.
They're getting some passing plays going, but really I feel like a lot of these plays are just pretty much solo plays. They're not really connecting as well with each other as they'd like, whereas Method is just really connecting with all their passing plays that they're throwing in, but they're really reading each other so well. Every single time they see an opportunity, they go for it. And once they have that pressure going, they shoot so many goals on net. And I mean, these angles that PSG are pulling off are so good. It's so on point, but it just, that defense of Method currently just looks unbreachable, really.
Unbreachable it will be. Method will go up 3-0 in the series. They are now on, well, not only series point, but now match point here for their rival week matchup. And you know, PSG is definitely not the performance we were expecting. You know, when you have a matchup between, you know, like we were building up earlier, the chemistry versus the star power, you often expect the star power to, you know, at least be able to hold a bit of a fight. You know, oftentimes traditionally it would be chemistry that actually does beat out a team like that. You know, you often would expect Method to be able to be almost the victors in that case, but from PSG, it kind of doesn't really feel like that. It doesn't feel like the same star power filled team is playing in the server right now.
And the thing is, like, perhaps it's the experience game, what I've mentioned earlier, that Method being together a significant longer time than PSG might actually work in their favor. But then again, we have seen PSG dominate, especially like in the last few weeks in a lot of high-end competitive matches. These guys have been playing so on point, working so well together, getting some crazy goals in. Same goes for Method though, by the way. But, you know, these two guys are currently the number 1 and 2 in EU. Method currently standing number 1. And I would have expected this game to be so much more closer because these teams are so close to each other, especially the previous matchup 2 weeks ago. This was such a close matchup and so much spectacular things happening, but currently it just really feels that PSG is not really playing the game that they want, and Method is just striving over that. They're really dominating right now.
Here we go, match point for Method. One game will do it, and they will be the victors here in Rival Week Day 4. Magnus already in with a very nice double touch play off the backboard. Magnus, where's the songs right now? Method will be singing them in troves tonight.
Nerf Magnus, please, for the love. I mean, Magnus, like, that is like the third time he managed to pull that off, and it's just, It's literally a blast to see him do that so well. He's really being the powerhouse for his team. You can't count out the other two players, Metzen a lot, but Magnus, my goodness, man, what a star player for his team right now.
Definitely MVP in the matchup for the Method side. And look at this, he may even chip even a second. Magnus, you dirty man, in the upper 90. I got no more words for this man right now.
Oh man, he tasted the blood of PSG and he's ready to just take advantage off of that. Magnus, man, he's not stopping now. You can feel it's like he felt it. Okay, it's like, okay, I got a few nice goals in, but now 2 in a row. Oh man, he's playing the game of his lifetime right now.
100% couldn't agree with you more, but PSG are set up to come through from Bluey. Can Chaussette follow it around? He looked like he was likely, but oh my goodness, not again! It's a lot this time, but still it's a 3-0 Method straight out of the gate in the opening minute of this very crucial match are going to be able to score 3 goals.
The previous 2 rounds were so extremely close. Those 2 matches all came down to 1 single goal, and now, right now, Method is just dominate. They're continuing on their streak right now, and everything is going so well for them. But that is also due to the reason that they're beating PSG so many times on that ball. They're being so much more quicker towards all of these opportunities, having that solid defense rotation going on for them. I mean, yeah, it's such a difficult situation for PSG, but they really have to step up right now. I mean, if they lose it, it's done. I mean, these guys really have to perform so much more better, and they only have 3.5 more minutes to do that.
Once again, Saab comes in from Method a lot, trying to get a very striking shot, but he may just go in, sniped in by Thera. Finally, PSG will have a little bit of ground to work with in this series, but they're still down by 2. Just got off the shot from a lot. Managed to finally open up for the blue team.
A little bit of a lucky shot there for Farah, but they needed this. They needed this little goal to get that goal deficit a little bit smaller, to get some more hopes up throughout this game, because right now they have to win every single game to stay alive. Oh, Magnus once again coming in clutch for his team. He's been everywhere around the pitch. Right now, beautiful pass towards a lot. Can he get that in? No. Very nice demo from Bluey. And can he do that? Can he? Oh, he's just trying to be fancy. I mean, right now, it's not the time for PSG to get some fancy goals going. They just have to be easy, simple, structural. Just get those goals in. That is mostly important right now.
They're still down by 2. It seemed like the perfect opportunity for Bluey to bring this to a 1-goal game, but unable to match against the defensive. And Chaussette will also play defensive for PSG. Been relatively good at it so far, but needs to hold a little bit more to keep them in this matchup. 2 goals down. We're approaching halfway point. And Chaussette will feed it around into Ferris car. And he will also follow it back as the 2 players pass between each other, challenging a double commit from Unlock and Magnus. So far working out well to keep control away from PSG, but it is setting up a good shot, a good flank could come in from Ferrer. No, a lot's going to chip it past him, chip it away from Chaussette to keep control away from PSG. And realistically, that's all Method needs to do. Just make sure they can't get control, make sure they can't set things up. And just from there, it would be a very, very good series for them. Let's go 4-0 up. Good shot from Chaussette. No one's there to defend it. And thank goodness, Chaussette will score the second for PSG.
Method was just pushed up way too hard right there. And Chaussette really noticing. Pretty fair, square, easy goal for him to get that one in. But PSG really needs that right now. They need to get in as many goals as they can to just really settle that score, get that perhaps towards a 3-3, a push overtime, or even take the lead. I mean, with 2 minutes left, everything is still possible, but this is their last chance, perhaps. You know, they really have to work together so well to remain alive. And I mean, with how Method is looking right now, it is extremely scary, but PSG can still do it. We still have to believe in them. Chat, give them some energy because they really need it.
A goal to find in a minute and a half. PSG have definitely been in a worse situation so far in this matchup. They just need to ensure that it does not get any worse. Good taps coming in. Maxinara's trying to get that shot on through, and there's Magnus chipping it past Vera. Magnus scores the hat-trick. And just when PSG were on the cusp of evening up this matchup, it now goes back to 2 to the favour of Method.
Method beat PSG with every single touch on that offense. Method is so much quicker towards that ball. PSG just has no time to even get that ball away. If Method just once again just really working with those passing plays, well, that would have been a close angle, but they're working so well together. Every single, like they're not having those solo plays. They work together as a team. Mats and Norris getting another, like after a mistake of the defense of PSG. I mean, PSG is really slowly crumbling down, and it's not looking pretty for them.
Chaussette, the man in the defense of PSG so far this series, just played a little bit too far forward. Metzenara saw that, exploited it, and took advantage of it in its finest. It's now 5-2, and suddenly this series seems like it's slipping further and further away from the grasp of PSG. As Metzenara just doubles down. Why not at this point? You know, you can do so. It's 6-2, this series. I have a feeling it's already gone to the favor of Method.
It's just painful to watch right now, but it's so good on the side of Method right now. They must be cheering right now because, like, these guys are really playing the game of their life, and they're playing so well. Everything they want to pull off is working right now. Metzenara is going to get another shot in for him, another hat trick. You know, 2 hat tricks currently in the team of Method. We don't see Brazil because PSG has got those 2 goals in. Perhaps we're going to see a double Brazil. It's really unlikely, but if that would have happened, I'm not going to say anything wrong, because if it will happen, I will probably just, you know, put a little curse on myself. But, you know, right now for PSG, it's really not looking pretty. 1 minute left. Technically, it could be possible, but the way this series has been working out, I don't see it happening. Oh, my God.
Just salt in the wound from Method right now against PSG. You're down by 5 goals, let's make it 6. You're down by 6, let's make it 7. We're up 7-2. This is match point for us. And you've got 30 seconds, PSG, to try and make this work. Chaussette setting up right in the goal. No, not again. Magnus will defend against it. And he has just played the match of his life right here. Just playing so well so far. Playing up defense, playing back into the offense. And it looks like off the basis of his efforts, alongside Metzenara and a lot. It looks like
no way!
Just a second for a lot. Well, let's see that. So let's hold back for a second. Will it be the hat-trick?
Wow.
From a lot? He's got 2 goals, 8 seconds. Will he score the 3rd?
Oh my God, that pass was just unbelievable. So much control. Really knowing where your teammate is, just, oh man, I love seeing stuff like that. And honestly, in the beginning of this matchup, I did not expect Method to be so well in control of this match. I expected a way closer matchup between these 2 teams, but Method, my goodness, these guys, all 3 of them really popped off tonight.
Method are an incredibly scary team right now. You know, as you said, this match was pinned to be an extremely close one. You know, like 3 best-of-7s. We were saying, all right, there's a chance this is going to go to all 21 matches. We were saying, you know, from the start that this match has just been, you know, such a big thing for them. Obviously, they're playing the Pride Method, looking to get their revenge against PSG for what they did in the RLCS. But I don't think any one of us were expecting Method to take this matchup in this kind of a fashion. It was just absolute domination from the boys in orange, and they will take the $700 prize pool split of the PRL Rivals Week show match. Of course, very nicely sponsored by Psyonix, but I think I'm more, rather than just moving away and start focusing on that particular prize pool, you know, I just kind of want to think about just what this means for Rocket League in general, because these 2 teams were the top 2, but Method showed a whole other dominating side to them in this matchup.
I mean, this matchup really was huge for Method, because right now, like, okay, we're currently in the #1 spot of EU, and with this matchup, they fallen for PSG 2 weeks ago, and now this dominated performance over them is just huge for them, because they're going to carry on this momentum into the regional championships, and they're going to feel so good about themselves, because knowing that they have that confidence, okay, we're able to run in a long session. We've got that, what it takes to remain consistent and constantly have that pressure going on what they want to do. Really what they showed today is that really they could play their game. But it also has to do with the fact that PSG really didn't show up today. I feel like they didn't really have put their A game on today. I have seen them play much better. And it's kind of a shame. Like I think both of us really wanted this to be an extremely close matchup, but I mean, Method just took away the show. It was just like, yeah, we're here, we're gonna settle the score, and this is really the definition of settling the score with a rival, honestly.
2-0 in the series. It's 4-1 and 4-0. PSG just not really showing up for themselves. They did get their consolation prize of $300, but it is Method as the victors of tonight and the victors probably of the whole of EU Rocket League. That is going to do it from us here for today, here from PRL Rival Week. Of course, we do have one more matchup to come up in the very near future. That is going to be Cloud9 versus NRG, possibly the kings of the I think Cloud9 are probably the best team in the North American Rocket League scene at the moment in time, so it'll be curious to see how those two face off. I mean, just a quick little thing, just to dip into that, what's your prediction before we do sign off for tonight?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot right now. The thing is, I really want to give it to its NRG because it's an important matchup for them as well. As you know, Cloud9 currently is a team. They're safe. They're going towards the LAN event. They're looking extremely confident, even though they're newcomers in pretty much. Well, they're not really newcomers in the scene, but especially like in the high end, they have been doing so well this year. And these guys are looking so scary. But NRG, veterans of the scene, you know, these guys have been throughout so many times. It's just always a blast to see these guys play. They have so much history behind them. So, you know, I would, like, from that principle, I want to give them the win. But honestly, I think it's going to be a close match. Really, like, Rocket League is currently striving to that point where so many teams, any team can take off a win of any other pro team that is in the high-tiered games. And, I mean, it switches around. Literally, it's just that momentum that you have on that day. And it means so much. And I mean, the scene is starting to get so close. So many teams are really getting so good, and consistency is building up every single day, every single week. So all these teams are getting better and better and better and better. So, I mean, honestly, I might just give it to skill and how things are going currently to Cloud9. But hopefully it's going to be a close match. Closer than that what we've seen today.
Yeah, definitely. I'm backing Cloud9 for that one, so that is where my loyalties lie in particular. But that is all coming up later on in the week. You can keep your eye on all of the PRL social media at Pro Rivalry on Twitter and is it ProRL.com? Yeah, that's the website, ProRL.com for all of the information. And of course, a massive shout out, a big thank you to Psyonix for making all of this possible. Without their support in providing these prize pools, like, we wouldn't be here right now. So massive thank you to them. And yeah, massive thank you to you guys for joining us. Of course, my name has been Switchblade Joe. Joining me has been X-Fighter. And of course, Bosler in the background, pressing all the buttons in regards to the game itself. So thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you back here very soon for more Rival Week action.
See ya.
Go! Go.